Hey YouTube, this is Rescue Museum Park Fan 62. Here's my review of the movie Megan. Now, I'm going to try and keep this as simple as I can, as well as my thoughts about the movie at the end. It starts off with Katie, the niece, which I'll get to here in a minute, in a car going toward, I guess, like a ski lift or something. She's playing with like a furry toy, and she's also looking at like an iPad. The mom asked to turn it down. She said she did. And so next thing they know, lights turn up and they get into a car crash and the parents die. Well, Katie has nowhere to go, so she goes to her uh, aunt Gemma uh, and stays there. And you could tell she was very uncomfortable to start at the beginning. So, um, as time goes on, she starts getting more and more comfortable while Gemma works on these projects. Um, so, at Gemma's work, they were trying to figure out what is the next item uh, to uh, do that can sell because obviously what they had was not working. So Gemma comes up with this creation of like a robot that actually looks like a physical human, just about, called Megan, uh, played by Amir Donald and voiced by Jenna Davis. Um, and so she was doing stuff like telling uh Katie like to flush the toilet, wash her hands, stuff like that. Meanwhile, David, played by Ronnie Chung, um, was trying to figure out what to put on the market next. So, Gemma shows David the Megan, and he gets impressed by it. So they come up with this timeline to try and get it out on the market for the Christmas season. And this is where it starts getting interesting. So when Gemma first brought Katie to her house, the dog from next door uh, kind of almost attacked Katie in the car. So Gemma's like, please put your dog away and stuff like that. So over time, Katie or Megan gets to acknowledge this, and it shows that where you start seeing all these different things happening. So Gemma is with her coworkers Cole, Tess, and Kurt, played by Brian Jordan Alvarez, Jen Van Epps, and Stephen Garn Amon. I think that's how you say it. And uh, the neighbor is Lydia, played by uh, Amy Usherwood. So the co-workers are trying to work out the kinks to Megan. Um, so when Lydia shows Megan to David, uh, so they're in a white room, and Megan's like, "Do you want to draw?" So Megan hands Lydia or Katie, I'm sorry, a piece of paper and there's nothing on it. So she spilled water across it, and it's a picture that looks exactly like Katie. And David's like, no way, this is awesome. Well, you. So this is where stuff starts getting interesting because Gemma is not sure what to do with Katie. And so she enrolls her in like a outdoor sports camp type environment. And so uh, she meets Brandon, played by Jack Cassidy. And you can tell Brandon is kind of a not the greatest person. Uh, so, for example, in the movie, uh, his mother uh, asked him, "Do you want a code or something like that?" And he's like, "F off." Um, so they go into the woods, and he meet and uh, Katie meets Brandon, and so he stuffs what looks like a spiked something spiked into Katie, and this is where you start seeing the twisted side of Megan. So Megan shows up, and uh, so Brandon takes Katie away from, or takes Megan away from Katie, and finally he throws her to the ground and tears at his ear. So you can start seeing come out more and more and more. So it's probably out to about like this or so. So Megan throws his ear into the woods, and he, Brandon, runs and falls down and goes in front of an SUV and dies. At the time, people think it was just an accident. So, Officer Carter, played by Samson Boone, I hope I said his name right, is talking to Gemma about where they were and stuff like that. So, um, so after that, um, they get Megan ready for the board at this company, and this is where stuff starts to go awry. So David, the boss, isn't really a nice guy, so he was ordering uh, Kurt to go get him coffee, and so David turns the corner and sees Megan, and sees a dance, some sort of weird like TikTok style dance. So David runs toward the elevator while Megan rips apart what looks like a paper cutter and uses it to tear a hole in the back of David. So, and then Megan tells Kurt how, this is his fault. He made David go insane and everything else. Now, while this is going on, the stuff to get the experiment or to get ready to show Megan off what's going on. So when the elevator comes down and you heard a ding, you heard one woman scream, played by Jaya B. Robertson. I hope I said her name right. And you look in the elevator, and it's just like blood splattered everywhere. Uh, and so Megan gets into what looks like a Camaro. I'm not a Camaro, a Corvette, and heads toward Gemma's house. So this is where the last half of the movie ends, and so Gemma can't sleep, so she tries to look at the footage from Megan, and she can only see a little bit of it, then it kind of cuts off. So she looks up, she closes her laptop and sees Megan standing there, and Megan is like, I'm here to comfort Katie, uh, and stuff like that. So she put a hand over Gemma's mouth and is like, I swear to God, I will rip your head off if you try and do anything. So Megan imitates Katie and it's like, just stay in your room and stuff like that. So Katie sees what's going on and remembers the robot from earlier called David, I think, or something like that. And so she puts on these gloves and basically rips Megan in half. Well, you see, at one point after that, Megan's torso and up goes flying, and then her waist down just drops. So Megan tries to come up and crawl toward Gemma, and so Megan does something with the robot, and I actually know Gemma tears Megan's face apart and sees the um, basically the processor. So she was trying to get to a screwdriver to ram it in to make her uh, basically self destruct. So unfortunately, she couldn't find it. She couldn't get to it in time. Megan thought she would try and win. So Megan looks up, sees Katie there with a screwdriver, and rams it into the processor and Megan. Now, so then in the background, as the police come to make sure they're okay and everything else, um, you see like basically the movie's version of like an Amazon Prime or whatever that is called. Uh, and so something is going to happen down the road. It's already been confirmed that Megan 2 is coming. So, okay, there's people I didn't get to in there. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to keep this as short as I can. Now, overall, about this movie. Uh, it is a good movie for being a PG-13 horror movie. Is it the goriest movie in the world? No. But compared to something like a Halloween, Friday the 13th, uh, something like that, it is a lot better for what it is. Um, Typically, horror movies this time of year are not good. But for what it was actually a decent movie. Now, the thing that surprised me about with Megan itself as the robot is two things. One, she's really good at imitating voices. So, for example, there's something I forgot to mention. Uh, she lured the dog by sounding like its owner and basically murdered the dog from there. Another scene, like you saw in the trailer, is about how, like, she basically killed the owner, Lydia, with like a power sprayer, some chemicals, and a nail gun. So, um, and then Megan itself was impressive because while it doesn't look like an actual human girl, it is a lot better than looking than something like Chucky. Now, uh, it walks like a normal person. It acts like a normal person. Uh, it it acted like Katie's parent telling her to wash her hands and flush the toilet, stuff like that. But overall, it is a good movie. I do recommend you see it if you get a chance. Um, and I do recommend this movie overall.